Well, speaking at a post-budget seminar organised by Ernst & Young in Colombo today, Treasury Secretary Dr. P.B. Jayasundara remarked on the country's tax culture.
Yes, News First were the media sponsors of the seminar, which was telecast live this morning.
Panel discussion.
The post-budget seminar saw record participation this year with 1,300 persons in attendance, including prominent business leaders in the country.
And deposits are shifted. You have to build up your habits. You must learn to live in a tax culture. Still some guys don't have tax files. And our guys also don't know how to collect taxes. So you need time. You guys are also not easy. I mean, you have tax consultant industry. What are they doing? They look at your balance sheets and tell, don't pay tax. Not the ordinary people. Those fellows pay, they smoke and pay. They drink and pay. They buy goods and pay. They pay special commodity, import wheat grain and pay. You don't pay. I mean, as a society. So in that context, we knew. I mean, how many cars are leaked from the customs? Who are they? Who are the importers? Not us. Those days government supply was the importer. Now not. Now actually we managed to get some vehicles. Those are solid quality vehicles, duty payable. So this culture we knew, but it's improving.
Well, stay tuned. You can watch the full post-budget seminar right after this news bulletin on MTV Sports.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has congratulated President Mahinda Rajapaksa on the assumption of the Commonwealth chair in office.
President Putin had congratulated President Mahinda Rajapaksa in a phone call yesterday. The communique issued by the president's spokesperson and international media unit stated that President Putin had also reiterated his government's desire to continue strong bilateral relations with Sri Lanka. The communique added that President Rajapaksa had responded that he desired the same.
Now, the Colombo High Court granted bail to the chairman of the Thangaul Pradesh Sabha and 5 others who stand accused of murdering British national Khurram Sheikh and raping his girlfriend.
Indictments were filed against the suspects when the case was taken up today before High Court Judge Kumuduni Vikramasinghe. After the suspects pleaded not guilty to the charges filed against them, the High Court ordered that they be released on previously determined bail. The suspects were earlier released 8 months following arrest under a cash bail of 50,000 rupees each and the guarantee made by 3 persons for surety bails of 500,000 rupees each. The bail conditions also included that the suspects be present at the Criminal Investigations Department on the last Sunday of every month, their passports be impounded and that they do not intimidate the witnesses.
17 indictments were filed against them. The suspects were released on pre-bail conditions. Court also issued a date for the guarantors to be produced. In addition, the case will be taken up every day and will be closed by the end of February.
A British national is murdered and his girlfriend raped at a hotel in Thangaul. Charges levelled against 6 persons, including the chairman of the Thangaul Pradesh Sabha. The brother of the murdered victim and British MP Simon Dunsuk arrived in Sri Lanka. Concerns from Britain that investigations are not being undertaken in the proper fashion 18 months after the incident. Suspects released on bail of 50,000 rupees each and sureties of 500,000 rupees each 8 months after their arrest. Today, 6 defendants, including the chairman of the Thangaul Pradesh Sabha, released on previously determined bail.
Moving on to yet another headline-making story on tonight's news. A suspect connected with the double murder of a police constable and his wife in Kamburupitiya Mathura was killed in police fire today. The police said that the chief suspect connected to the murder remains at large and that an operation is underway to locate him.
Yes, and when News First visited the area today, it was evident that the news of the chief suspect remaining at large has caused anxiety among relatives of the late police officer and area residents alike.
බාල පුතාවනේ අම්ම නිදිය කියලා හිතාගෙන ඉන්නේ.
ලොකු දරුවා මෙහෙ ඉන්න නිකන් බය තත්ත්වෙකුත් තියෙනවා. මෙහෙ තියාගන්නත් බයයි.
The two children of the late couple were the most affected by this incident. The two children spend each day waiting for their parents. News First visited the house where these two children are reported to be staying. However, the children were not in at the time.
We are afraid to keep them here. We are being threatened. They threatened us last night. They said they will kill the children and they will not allow this family to survive.
The relatives and locals also point out that the children are not the only ones whose lives are at risk. We cannot keep them here and look after them. The situation here is dangerous. The youngest has no clue of what happened. They still think that their mother is alive.
තාත්තා ඉල්ලනවා අම්මත් ඕන කියලා ඉල්ලනවා අපි
They are asking for their mother and father. We are helpless. We cannot care for them. We fear that the two children will also be killed. We ask that security be provided to these two children.
ආරක්ෂාවක් දෙන්න කියලා තමයි මම කියන්නේ බුදු මහත්තයෝ.
A heavy security blanket was in place in the area today. The late police constable Valigama Liyanarachige Sunil was 33 years old at the time of his demise, while his wife Udupitiya Appulage Apsara was 29 years old. One suspect connected to the gruesome homicide was arrested in the wee hours of today in Hakmana. According to the police, the suspect had opened fire at the police when he was taken to reveal the location where firearms had been hidden, as mentioned by him in his statement. He was killed in police retaliatory fire. The suspect was a 27-year-old from Miyalla. The suspect who was arrested had served in the army and he knew how to operate weapons. The suspect had stated that they visited the house with weapons on the day of the incident. This act was planned carefully. The late police constable had assisted in a number of illegal alcohol and drug raids. A police team was deployed on the very next day to the area to apprehend the suspects. Reports have surfaced that phone calls are being made by various persons. This area is under protection, therefore no one needs to have fear. Meanwhile, a group of persons had set the house of the chief suspect ablaze last night. Incidentally, during a search operation on the 17th of this month, a police sniffer dog had tracked a scent trail to this particular house.
Well, if you're just tuning in, you're watching News First Primetime News, and up next is Action TV.
It is undeniable that the cultural performances at the opening ceremony of the 22nd Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting held dignitaries representing 1/4 of the world's nations mesmerized. In his budget speech yesterday too, the head of state made sure to make provisions to safeguard and promote these cultural aesthetics. These children too bear testament to the importance of safeguarding styles of visual and performance art that are unique to our island nation. The Ilukkoda Primary School in Mavanalla, where these children are being educated, only has a student population of 40. However, the school community, sparing no expense as per their means, have ensured that these children receive opportunities to shine. This banner, which flies high over the village, bears the picture of a girl who did not let such an opportunity go to waste and brought pride to her school and the village. These children too would be able to bring similar pride to their school and village when they receive instruments to their hands that are of an acceptable standard and quality.
අපි
ස්ථිර භාණ්ඩ සොයාගන්න අමාරුයි ගමේ අපි ජීවත් වෙන්නේ ගොවිතැන් කරලා අපිට ගොඩාක් සතුටුයි මේ වගේ
We are happy about the fact that there are such talented children in a rural village like this with very little resources. From the time of my grandparents, we have built the school up with much sweat and toil. They donated their land for this school.
Shouldn't steps be taken to give these children the tools they need to succeed and allow them to showcase their talent on a much broader stage? Chief Minister of the Sabaragamuwa province. This is over to you.
Now, at a public media briefing convened today, the Janata Vimukti Peramuna commented on the excessive demand for a debenture issue by a public listed finance company.
The economy of the entire nation has become centered around a small group. There is no plan to free the economy of this. You are aware that recently a key company in Sri Lanka undertook a debenture issue in order to raise funds. The first time that this company undertook a debenture issue in Sri Lanka, their request for credit was in excess of their credit needs. How could this happen? This company is prepared to give you more when you ask for a loan. When they issue stocks, you are encouraged to demand more stocks than they have. Some of the government's closest dealers are in there. It is these dealers that are operating in the stock market. It is this group of dealers that operate in the import-export market.
Now, speaking at an event held in Chavakacheri today, Chief Minister of the Northern Province, C.V. Vigneshwaran, expressed these views.
The provincial council election reflected the people's mindset, but I do not know if the government has understood this. Even now, they are enforcing the central government's authority on the provincial council. The government only gives importance to their commands and their authority. If the government and provincial council work in unison, then we can achieve success in the administration of the provincial council and the local government institutions. If we keep arguing over me or you, we will lose this opportunity. The people have clearly said that they do not want the government's authority and military strength imposed on them. This is what the authorities need to understand. Do not think that you can continuously keep the military in this province and take advantage of it. That is madness.
Now, the people of Hinguragoda in Polonnaruwa have been blighted by a caterpillar epidemic. Area residents claim that the sudden spike in the caterpillar population has made it impossible for them to live in their homes.
Well, villagers living in homes near the Gammudava Hinguragoda Satasa storage facility and villagers in the Pimpara and 31st colony areas are among the worst affected by the breakout. Area residents say that the caterpillars which come from a nearby teak reserve have seriously hampered their day-to-day lives.
Going to refresh it and take the packet. Do not play the